Yeah, I mean, obviously he did a great job of grossing over 60 yards. Um, we're still working on, the distance, the direction, the hang time, all that stuff. But, there's a lot of things that cause that. We were backed up and we're trying to gain field position and trying to, help out our defense as much as we possibly can. Do we give up some bigger returns? Yes, but there's also, a reward for it too, where we could end up, causing a penalty too to help us out. So there's different things that we can go into. We're going to continue to work with Stoney and hitting his best ball, distance and hang time. But yeah, that was just one of the things that we're just looking for him to get as much distance as we possibly can on some of those kicks.
Hey, Kearis, as far as you got your 10 important yards, I think, on the last drive. How's he doing as far as kind of finding some comfort, especially in the punt return game?
Yeah, I think each and every game that he goes out there, he's building more confidence. He's done a great job of coming up there, catching. That was one of our goals last year, is to catch all the punts. Didn't happen last year. This year's the same deal. So he's done a really good job of coming up there, and he made some difficult catches. The guy from the Chargers does a great job getting hang time. I think we had one at like 5-2 on the hang time. There's like 3 guys around him, but he does a really good job of catching the ball. And then the last one, I thought we played really good complementary football. He goes and catches the ball, gets upfield, gets 11 yards, helps out our offense. So really, really happy with what he's doing right now.
When you look at, how the XFL is gradually trying to eliminate kickoffs, what do you make of that, and what would you think of that, transferring over to your league?
To be honest with you, I don't really think much of it right now until the league comes out and says that this is what we're going to do. We'll take that in stride, each of us special teams coaches. But as of right now, we're just going with what we have. And if we're going to kick off and try to pin them deep, that's what we're going to try to do.
Fair catches don't seem like they've been much of a thing through the league through 2 weeks. You think that changes later?
Yeah, it could, It's interesting, that was the big talk of the offseason. How is this going to be a big effect with the fair catches? Like you said, there's only been a couple that I've seen so far. So really it's a week by week, whether teams start to feel comfortable on their kickoff return. If they don't, you might see more fair catches. But for right now, it's kind of status quo, and people are doing what they need to do.
Nick Bolt named AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. How nice is it just having him being able to come in here, be a pro, and settle in right away?
Yeah, it's been great. Having a guy that's done it for quite some time. He's got this, it's not a crazy confidence, but it's like, hey, I'm here, I've done it before, and it's like, it's no big deal. So when he marched out there to kick that 41-yard field goal, I think, the whole sidelines had the confidence that he was going to go and make it. And he never gets too high, he never gets too low. So really happy with him, and obviously with a game-winning kick, that was pretty cool to see.
You ever say anything to a kicker before he's going out there to kick a game winner? Or how do you approach that situation? Just stay away from him?
Those guys have their own little thing that they like to do, whether it's them going to kick the ball in the net, whether they visualize certain things. I let them do what they need to do. So I might give them a thumbs up, but really I just kind of let them do what they do, and then go and cheer them on when they make a game-winning kick.
Practice squad players are called up. Usually it's for depth purposes,
Sure.
for offense or defense. But how much input do you have into that in terms of, I need a guy who can, cover a punt or something?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's Coach Vrabel's call. Coach Vrabel will come and talk to me about certain things. Maybe ask my opinion on certain guys that are doing really well in practice. I think that's a great thing about us as an organization. We reward players who work really hard in practice, guys who are really into the details of certain things. So they earn the right to come up, which I love. Really it's Coach Vrabel's call, or Rams. Just ask my opinion, and I'll give it to him, and we can go from there.
That motion that the Patriots use to block that field goal, is that something that you might incorporate into your?
Who knows? It's funny because I saw the play obviously on TV, and I think one of the announcers said that's the first time he's seen that. It's been around. I know when I was coaching with the Chargers, the Raiders used to do it. So they just did it to the field. So, hats off to the Patriots. They did a really good job. You can tell who they were trying to key off of. But yeah, it's a copycat league. So I would imagine a lot of teams will work on it and, might add their own little twist to it, their own little wrinkle to it. But, who knows? It could end up showing with the Titans. You never know.
How often do you actually see new stuff in special teams? How much of it is it a copycat versus truly new stuff?
Oh, it's a copycat league. I mean, you might find things here and there that people change up, and you're like, oh, wow, I haven't seen that before, like even today. And it was something really, really small when I was watching another game from around the league, and it was really with technique. So you might see a few things maybe here and there, but for the most part, it's people copy off of it and just add a little twist to it.
A trick play in terms of when to use it, as far as, is it a certain look? Is it a down and distance that you're looking for, a spot on the field? Does all that play a factor into it?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, down and distance is huge, where you're at, when Coach Vrabel tells us it's on. So that's, things that I'm sure a lot of coordinators and us included will look at each and every week. But yeah, there's a lot of things that come into play, whether you run a fake, whether you run something on the field goal block unit. That's just something that we study, and we try to take advantage of, whether it's rules or we see something that we feel like we can take advantage of.
Yeah, it's a game of injuries, but, you never want to see nothing like that happen, especially to a player like Nick Chubb, special player, one of the best backs in the league, and, just trying to make a physical run and finish a run and end it that way. You never want to see that happen. But yeah, man, just, knowing him for a while, and, knowing how hard he works, and, all the backs, just trying to get out there and showcase our talents and do whatever we can to help our teams win, and, just doing whatever we can to show our value to each team. And I know those guys try to work hard and do that every day, but just an unfortunate situation. And
Reach out to him.
yeah, I talked to him. And told him I'm praying for him, and wish him all the best. And he was in good spirits, so that made me feel good.
What's the challenge this week against that defense and some of the guys they have up front?
Yeah, I think they're fast flow guys, fly around, get to the ball real fast. Obviously, they're just disruptors with their pass rushers. With Myles Garrett, him playing basketball and getting to the quarterback. But good linebackers. Got good cover guys. I think they're all around solid defense, and those are gonna be a tough task coming Sunday.
Does it feel like the offense is maybe after going into that second game starting to maybe get a rhythm with this, with how Tim calls the game and with the new pieces that have been added this offseason?
Man, I know it's a great momentum to going in this game coming off of last week. A lot of guys got opportunity to make plays, and a lot of guys should be confident going in this week trying to make plays and do great things Sunday. So, I know a lot of guys are excited to be out here, getting reps in, and letting transition to Sunday.
When you look at this play action and how effective it is with you in the game, do you take pride in how much you're able to impact the defense even when you're not touching the ball?
Just trying to do anything I can possible just so we can make a play happen and get a big play. I felt like that was a great play in the game with Ryan and Traylon. Ryan gave him a good ball. Traylon whatever made a big play, and the play action is working well for us. Hopefully it can continue. But I think when you do all the other stuff well, then those things will happen. But we just got to continue working on it and being great at everything else.
How much fun is that triple option play? You remember when you first saw it, and you ever expected to his pitch from that far away to draw a guy that strongly?
I figured the safety would go with me, and Ryan giving him a fake and getting the end zone, and happened just the way I thought it would. Ryan did a great job, and we got points out of it, but it was a cool play and something different.
How much do you enjoy going and playing in a place like Cleveland where the fans are rowdy and they've got a lot of energy, and when it's kind of you against the world, that type of thing?
Yeah, we played there in 19. The energy was great. I think they look for football 365. So I think it's gonna be a great crowd. They got a great team. I remember back in 19 we played there. The energy was great. So should be a good atmosphere. That's what you want when you're playing football.
Were you watching that game Monday live, or did you have somebody send you the clip of Chubb just kind of?
Yeah, I was watching it live.
Just what was your reaction in the moment? I know it was
Everybody else's reaction. Just it was tough to see, and especially the type of player he is. Never want things to happen, but I mean that comes with the game. So.
Talked to Tajay yesterday, and he just always just gets a big smile on his face when he talks about that running backs room and just the respect that you guys have for one another. What allowed him to come in and kind of have that respect from a veteran like you?
Yeah, I think just the way when he came in, his approach, always looking to get better, very attentive in meetings, very detailed in everything, and pays attention and let it transition to the practice field, and it's playing off, in the games as well. So, just love his drive. We kind of have similarities when we talk about certain stuff. So, glad that we have him. He's a great asset for us, and he's been doing a great job.
You're not in it for records or milestones, but you're on the verge of passing Earl Campbell for most rushing yards in franchise history. Hard to believe, a guy that maybe you grew up watching, maybe you're on the doorstep of doing that, and what about your respect for him?
Yeah, man, Earl Campbell's like one of those, those running back superheroes you hear about growing up as a kid. And for my name, we mentioned it, his is it's surreal, very cool, very blessed, and thankful. We know the impact he's had for this organization, and through the football world, everybody know who Earl Campbell is, about his play style and the effect he had on the game. So for me to be mentioned with his name, it's like a dream come true.
You ever the clips of him where he'd be running over guys and they're pulling pieces of jersey off?
Crazy.
You ever wish that maybe you'd get a jersey that you could wear and let them try to pull it off of you?
Those jerseys back then, the material is probably a little bit different. It's probably a little more advanced these days. But still seeing those clips to this day is still crazy to see. How he was running through guys holding on for dear life, trying to get him down, and still couldn't bring him down. So like I said, he's like a running back superhero to me.
Miles and the athleticism. When you see somebody like that, do you try and compare you against him? Do you try and think how athlete that guy, or is that something that doesn't ever cross your mind?
No, I feel like Miles has been built that way since he came out the womb in high school and playing against him in college. Just a freak athlete, and he's a great football player as well.
That's good.
I think the guys did a good job of doing and going out and executing one of our top team keys last week, which was being efficient on first and second down. We didn't have it. We had that. I think it was a second drive. We jump off sides. We have an ME on the second and 10. Like it's hard to get into any type of rhythm. I don't care how long, how many games guys have played with one another. If you're consistently putting yourself behind the sticks like that. So I thought our guys did a great job of coming out and maintaining their focus, their high level of detail, and were able to go and sustain drives.
You got the big spark on Traylon Burks, the 70-yarder. What goes through your mind as you see the Chargers score? You guys were struggling on offense. What goes through your mind as far as the timing to be able to dial something like that up?
Yeah, felt like you said, we needed a spark. And our guys, up until that point, had been holding up pretty well in protection on first and second down. Felt good about the matchup. We liked the play going into the game, and it's just one of those things when you're kind of looking at the call sheet and it's like, all right, well, let's give this one a shot. And he did a great job winning. They did a great job protecting. Ryan delivered a great ball. It was a well-executed play. I could have called anything at that point in time. If they executed like that, it was going to be a successful play.
Is that something like an area where you feel Ryan really excels? Tannehill, that is, just that play-action passing.
Yeah, he's throughout his career, he's done a great job being able to use a run game and use the play action to his benefit. He's a great ball handler. Our guys do a great job up front, being able to go and sell the run. And obviously, when you have Derrick and Tajay back there, there's a lot of attention being spent on those guys. So it's been something that he's had a lot of efficiency with, and that he's had a lot of success with.
I did like what you saw from Ryan, I guess, last week, dealing with some of the adversity, criticism for week one, to kind of bounce back and play like he did on Sunday.
Yeah, I didn't really have any doubt that was coming. He's such a pro, and he's been successful, for a long time. So obviously, game a couple weeks ago didn't go the way we wanted it to, but like we say, luckily for us, we play again in 6 days or however many days it is until our next game. And so he took advantage of that opportunity and went out and played the way that we needed him to play and the way that we expected him to play.
Third downs and late in ball games, it seems like that Ryan seems to look sometimes for Nick Westbrook-Akine, maybe more so in those situations than at other times. Is that just a product of their trust and their relationship over the years?
Yeah, I think he's got a high level of trust of with a number of those guys. Hop had that big third down conversion. I believe it was in the fourth quarter on the cross. Had a high level of trust in Nick on the third and goal. So you see those targets going to a couple of different guys. But yeah, I think all of our wideouts and tight ends have done a great job coming in and really trying to establish that trust and make sure that Ryan feels good. That not only are they going to be able to go out there and execute, but they're going to be able to go out there and win.
You're always going to like a first read that's successful. Is Ryan maybe sticking with those a little longer as part of the pass protection?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
If you're able to go to the first read, obviously the protection doesn't need to hold up as long.
Mm-hmm.
So is he maybe making more of an effort to make the first read work?
I don't think I think he's playing within his progression. I don't think he's locking into anybody. I don't think he's hanging on to I think he's playing what he sees, and he's doing a good job of finding the open guys.
What do you get, I guess, the Jim Schwartz defense, and maybe what are you anticipating kind of seeing from them on Sunday?
They're fast. I mean, they're fast, attacking front. Those guys up front, obviously, with Garrett and Zadarius, those guys are big, productive, strong, athletic players on the edge. Tomlinson's inside. They're getting out the ball. Those backers are flying all over the place, trying to take double teams off. So it's a very much of an attacking front. Probably different than what we've seen the first couple of weeks with the Saints and with the Chargers. And then on the back end, they've got good length. Obviously with Newsome, Ward, guys that can run, that can play man coverage. That's kind of what we're expecting to see.
With the high level of performance Cleveland has had through 2 weeks, how much attention to detail has been going into all the moving pieces on your offensive line for the last few days?
Yeah, it's a good challenge for our guys up front. Our focus has been on making sure that we're putting them in a position to be successful. And everyone's going to have a piece of that. Like as we sit here and talk about it, making sure the guys that are giving the looks today when we're going out there and practice are giving us the specific looks that we're anticipating seeing. So the first time our guys up front feel that it isn't on Sunday, because it is a different style from what we've seen so far. So there's been a big focus in that, and it started with us with the game plan, designing it in such a way that we're able to put them in a good position, and then going to look to continue that today with how we're going to go out there and practice.
How do you like maybe the carries and play time for Derrick and Tajay, and will that be kind of a week-to-week deal? Are you still trying to find out the sweet spot there with those two?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we necessarily have a pitch count. I don't know if we necessarily it's so much of it's going to be dictated on how the game goes, and whether you want to call that who's got the hot hand, who's the better matchup, however we want to say that. We've got two very talented backs with two unique skill sets, and it's a good problem to have for us to be able to make sure that we're getting both those guys enough touches.
When you know an opposing quarterback as well as Deshaun, do you spend any extra time with the defense in a week like this, kind of giving them?
Yeah, I've got my hands full with their defensive side of the ball. So all my focus has been on making sure that we're able to take care of those guys up front and able to get open versus man.
With people worrying out loud about the offense through week 1, how did it feel week 2 to put up a big round number, 27 points, and get that?
I mean, as long as we had one more point than the other guys, that was going to feel great. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that we're doing whatever it takes to win a football game. It's been a long time since we had done that. So it felt great that we were able to go out there and hold up our end of the bargain and go get a win.
Mike was telling us the other day that Justin came to you in overtime and kind of suggested that play that went to Tajay. Just how collaborative has the play calling been between you and the rest of the staff?
Justin does a great job up top, being able to kind of see what's going on with the different run schemes. Charles has done a great job on the field with the different coverages and the different pass game ideas and concepts. So when we have a staff like ours, guys that I have 100% trust in, that are really talented at their jobs. You know, it's easy when they're sitting there and hey, you know, take a look at this, or hey, you know, they're ready for this. And again, I think it's just a testament to the staff coaches put together in those two in particular. And I mean, Tony and Rob do a great job, and the whole staff. But with our relationship and the amount of trust that I have in those guys, it makes that part easy.
How long have you been sitting on the triple option play?
I was glad that we were able to call it, so it was good. It was good. That was good.
Yeah, I mean, I was there with him his rookie year, and he got hurt in Seattle early in the season, so not much to go off of. I mean, we've obviously played against him a lot in the past, so I would say there's some things there more so than when I was in Houston with him.
See you kind of weaving through traffic and kind of keeping plays alive, and what's maybe the challenge for your defenders to deal with that?
Yeah, like when you rush him, you got to be relentless. He's got a knack for finding the crease or working his way out of sacks. He's strong. He's tough to bring down at times. So you got to be relentless when you're rushing this guy. You got to stay at it. You never know. The play's never really over with him. So we just got to continue to rush. Even when we think we might not have something, something could come late just from him trying to extend something.
They obviously had a lot of success with Nick Chubb in the run game and just in terms of the points in general. With him out, does anything change for you guys? Obviously signing Kareem Hunt there too.
Yeah, I mean, they're really good up front, right? They're really good up front. I think their O-line's probably one of the better teams in the league in terms of blocking in the run game. I don't think things changed too much. They had 30 rushes last week against the Steelers, and Chubb went out, played 26, right? So, I mean, I think that's who they are. That's their identity. I don't know if they're truly going to get away from that just because Nick's not there. Obviously, you lose a great player. It's tough to replace, but bringing Hunt back, Ford did a good job when he was in there last week.
What did you see from Ford in that game?
Yeah, I mean, the explosiveness, being able to circle up the defense, come back and take it to the house nearly. He runs hard. He's got some good speed. So I think he's a good system fit for what they do, running the ball.
Your guys on the back end of the defense, like when you're going against a guy like Watson, extends plays, or even worse than that play action, what do you tell them?
Yeah, the play's never over, right? The play's never over, whether it's the front or the back end. We got to make sure we stay connected. If we're in zone coverage, we got to find matches late in the down, and we got to cover them. That turns into man coverage, backyard football at that point. So we got to make sure we do a good job understanding what's going on. If he's in the pocket, if he's out of the pocket, what we're able to get away with when he's out of the pocket. There's no ICT, so some of that comes into play. But we got to find bodies, and we got to be on body.
Elijah, I think, went 68 on Sunday. How do you do, and maybe how valuable is it to have a guy like that that can step in at different spots?
Yeah, he was good, man. He's always been versatile for us. Just having him as a safety net for me. I mean, he can play a lot of different spots for us. It's on us as a coaching staff not to overload him. You know, don't turn a blessing into a curse. Just with what we're asking him to do, but he's a valuable piece of our defense with all the versatility. So I'm excited he's performed the way he has up to this point.
Kevin Byard was talking about Njoku being a matchup problem and a guy who can make lots of yards after the catch. What type of problems does he present?
Yeah, I mean, he's big, he's strong, he can run the routes. I think once he gets the ball in his hands, it's scary because he's a big, strong dude who can run, right? So anytime you get those guys on the catch and runs, it's those 5-yard gains that turn into 15 or turn into 20 that really scare you, right? So we got to make sure we're tight on him. If he does catch it, we got to be able to get him on the ground and not let him get going.
Learn, I guess, from Jim Source maybe during your time together here?
Yeah, a lot. He was extremely valuable to me. Just a great football mind. Obviously, one of the better defensive minds in the game. And I think his knowledge of offensive football from being a head coach and being around the league for so long, he was always a great sounding board for me, always coming to me with ideas, things we can do differently. And, I mean, it's not just the stuff on the field. It's the day-to-day aspect of running a meeting, things to kind of approach with the unit going into game week. Like there was a bunch of different aspects that he helped me with. I miss him. I do. I'm happy for him. Obviously, he deserves what he's doing right now, and it's by no surprise they're doing what they're doing defensively. But can't say enough about Jim and what he was to me these past 2 years.